Okay, so we are getting ready to make our run to the machine shop. We're finally at that stage of the build. So I'm just packaging everything, labeling everything. So labeling all the parts that the machine shop might need. Bearings. I believe these are the rod bearings, or the mains, and those are the rods. Cam bearings, gonna have them install these for me. And then these are the head bolts, so made a copy of instructions so that they have them. And I keep the original, but on the copy basically just highlighting stuff to make it a little bit easier for them. Something kind of like this right here. So this is the main studs, so the torque values, torque sequence, just for their reference. Everything labeled with my name. These are the rods, the pistons, and the crank. Okay, on the piston box, so same thing. Made a copy of the printout for the piston specs and everything. That way, put my name on there, put the piston to wall clearance that they can machine to. So copy of documentation, and here's the piston, all 8 of them. And I went one step as well and wrote the piston to wall clearance right on the face, just so it's easy on the machinist. Trying to make them happy, make them easy, but a whole box of pistons get loaded up and we'll head on down to the machinist. Okay, so we're loaded up, and before we hit on the road to head to the machine shop, just thought I'd talk about it for a few minutes. So we're finally at that stage, ready for machine work. Blocks cleaned out for the most part, freeze plugs, water ports, all that stuff taken out, and parts are all here. I was waiting on a thread chaser for the main cap so I could chase those thread holes before I headed to machine shop for so the threads were nice and clean for the main cap bolts. Those will be changing out to studs, hence why we need to go to machine shop. So converting over to studs, which means the clamping pressure is a little different, something along those lines, and you need to realign hone the mains. There's a video from on YouTube, I think it's like Engine Builders or Power Sports or something like that, where they do a demonstration. They show that there's a difference of almost like 5/10 or something like that, 5/10 thou, just from going from the torque to yield factory bolts to studs. So we're going to get it line holed, and might as well get everything good so that we get good bearing wear, good bearing clamping force, etc., etc. Also going to be having them wash everything, clean everything, install the cam bearings. I mean, I can do it, but for the price, they only charge like 40 bucks or something to put them in, so might as well just have them do it that way. And then all I have to do is check to make sure that the bearing oiling passages line up with the block passages, which is no big deal. And bore and hone the blocks. So right now the bores are round, but they're undersized, and we're going 30 over. There is a hourglass shape to the bores. I mean, not too out of the ordinary. It is a used block, bought it cheap on eBay, but it's skinny in the middle, fatter on the tops and bottoms, and they'll take that all out, machine it to the proper piston to wall clearance, etc., etc., and hopefully get this thing back in a few weeks. So, long drive to the machinist. I had called several machinists, talked to them over the phone, checked all kinds of reviews and stuff, because I've been out of this game for a very long time. So it was trying to pick people's brains, asking lots of questions, kind of getting them warm fuzzy. Even went to these places and talked to them face to face, because it's just a lot more personable, and you can get a better sense of what they're about when you get to see them and kind of see the shop and the environment that they're going to be working on your stuff in. So settled on one, came reviewed from a good friend of mine as well, God rest his soul. He had recently passed away, cover that video or that topic in another video. But anyways, so we're going to a machine shop in the Chandler area. It was a toss-up between that one and one down in Tucson. They're both about the same distance from me, since I live almost halfway between Tucson and Chandler. So we settled on these guys. They seemed like a real cool group of cats when I went and visited them and talked to them, and they've been very helpful answering some of my questions on the phone. So they're the ones that are going to be getting my business. Hopefully everything turns out well, and a couple weeks from now, hopefully everything comes back.